Imagine Newcastle on a cloudy morning, one of those days when the cold wind blows through the streets and the whole city seems filled with anticipation. The pubs start to fill early, and between sips of beer and rushed conversations, fans exchange rumours circulating behind the scenes of European football. This isn't just another market speculation, but something that could impact the club's immediate future and even shake the balance of power between Premier League and La Liga giants. There's a name being whispered cautiously, as if it were too forbidden to speak aloud, and it is in this atmosphere of suspense that a story emerges that could ignite the fan base. After all, what goes on behind the scenes at St. James Park is not just summer chatter. These are discreet negotiations, closed-door meetings, and phone calls that could radically change the season. But before revealing who the central figure of this story is, I want to invite you, passionate Newcastle fan, to subscribe to the channel right now. This helps our work grow and ensures you stay up to date with the hottest and most exclusive news about the Magpies. So far, the plot seems simple: an ambitious English club on the rise, with financial power and limitless ambition, seeking a heavyweight name to establish itself definitively among Europe's giants. But behind it all lies a detail that makes everything even more intriguing. The target isn't just any player. We are talking about a young star who has already experienced nights of glory on football's biggest stage and who sparks desire not only in Newcastle but also among other top English clubs. The question is, how far would the club be willing to go to make this dream a reality? Meanwhile, in Spain, the management of one of the biggest clubs on the planet carefully assesses the market value of one of their stars. They know holding on to this player is important, but they also understand that the market can offer irresistible opportunities. Fans are left wondering, would the player be willing to leave the comfort of Madrid to take on a bold project in the north of England? And it is precisely here that the plot takes on dramatic contours, because the decision could define not only the player's future but also Newcastle's destiny this season. The player in question is none other than Rodrigo, the Brazilian forward from Real Madrid. According to Spanish journalist Guillem Bell, Newcastle United is monitoring the player's situation, even considering a substantial offer to take him from the Santiago Bernabeu. Real Madrid, for its part, does not rule out selling him, although they believe the player himself may not be receptive to leaving the club at this moment. And this is where the story becomes even more thrilling. Ballack revealed that Real Madrid set an initial price of €100 million for Rodrigo, but could consider offers around €60 million towards the end of the transfer window, an amount that, by Newcastle's standards and current investment capacity, would not be impossible to put on the table. Yet, the question remains, would the Brazilian, a key player for his national team and with ambitions to play in the next World Cup, be willing to give up Madrid's prestige to become a protagonist at Newcastle? While Arsenal, Manchester City, Tottenham and Liverpool watch the situation without advancing any offers, Newcastle carefully evaluates the behind-the-scenes movements. Sources indicate that the Magpies may wait until the final days of the window, when pressure on Real Madrid could be greater and negotiations more favorable. This suspense adds to fans' anxiety, who already imagine Rodrigo wearing the black and white shirt and scoring at St. James Park. But is the dream really possible? At this point, it's worth reinforcing the invitation to subscribe to the channel. Here, you follow every detail of this transfer saga closely, always with clear analysis, accessible language, and reliable sources. Your subscription makes all the difference, so we can continue bringing exclusive, detailed stories about Newcastle United. So, if you're not yet part of our community, click the button and join us. Returning to the plot, it's important to highlight the role of Xabi Alonso, Real Madrid's current coach. Despite the speculation, Alonso has repeatedly stated that Rodrigo is part of his plans, yet the numbers don't lie. The Brazilian participated in only 3 matches in the latest edition of the Club World Cup, having little prominence. His last appearance was almost symbolic, with just 4 minutes on the field in the quarterfinals against Borussia Dortmund. For a player of his quality and ambition, being on the sidelines can be a decisive factor. From a strategic perspective, Real Madrid is also considering the possibility of freeing up financial and sporting space for other squad members. The chance to sell Rodrigo for a significant sum could represent an opportunity to strengthen other areas of the team, and it is precisely this scenario that puts Newcastle in a privileged position, offering the player something Madrid cannot guarantee at this moment: consistent minutes on the pitch and a guaranteed role in an ambitious project. We cannot forget that the next World Cup is approaching, and top players know they need regular playing time to secure a spot in their national teams. For Rodrigo, who dreams of being a key player for Brazil, minutes on the field and consistency are essential. Newcastle could be the perfect stage for this leap into prominence. Yet, at the same time, leaving the historic trophy-laden Real Madrid jersey is a decision that demands courage and vision for the future. Here is where the player's dilemma intensifies. On one side, the tradition, glamour and security of staying at Real Madrid. On the other, the challenge, the promise of a central role, and the chance to write his name in a new era of success in English football. Between millions of euros, pressure from rival clubs, and fans' expectations, Rodrigo faces a crossroads that could define his career for years to come. According to Guillem Balog, there is still no formal offer from Newcastle, but the Magpies are watching every Real Madrid move closely, and as we know in this type of negotiation, time is one of the greatest allies. The end of the transfer window could bring an unexpected outcome that seems unlikely today. It remains to be seen if the Brazilian would be willing to embark on this new adventure. Now, let's delve a bit into Rodrigo's history to understand the weight of this potential transfer. Revealed by Santos in Brazil, Rodrigo gained prominence very early, being hailed as a rare gem of Brazilian football. He quickly caught the attention of Real Madrid, who invested heavily to sign him. Since then, the young Brazilian has collected moments of brilliance, especially in decisive Champions League nights, where he showed composure and talent under extreme pressure. These performances made him a fan favorite at Madrid, while also attracting interest from foreign clubs. At just 24 years old, Rodrigo has already accumulated impressive titles, but he is still seeking the consistency that guarantees him an undisputed starting spot at Real Madrid. And this is exactly the gap Newcastle is looking to exploit, offering him not just a lucrative contract, but above all, protagonism. Being the face of a rising project that seeks to challenge the giants of England and Europe could be an irresistible proposition from a tactical perspective. Eddie Howe could deploy Rodrigo in several roles. The Brazilian is versatile enough to play on the wings, using his speed and dribbling, or as a second striker, exploiting his finishing ability. This would open new options for Newcastle, especially in big games where Rodrigo's mobility and intelligence could be decisive. Imagine him alongside Isak, forming a strike partnership capable of troubling any European defense. The fans, for their part, are already starting to react to the prospect. On social media, many dream of the Brazilian wearing the black and white shirt, recalling that Newcastle needs names of this caliber to elevate their status. Others, however, remain skeptical, believing convincing Rodrigo to leave Real Madrid is almost impossible. Either way, the very fact that his name is being discussed demonstrates the club's new status, now competing for top players with Europe's elite gear. One more reminder: if you enjoy following all these behind-the-scenes details, subscribe to the channel. This is where you find complete contextualized analysis to understand not just the news, but its impact on Newcastle's present and future. Another factor weighing on this potential transfer is the Premier League environment. Unlike La Liga, the English league offers intensity, global media exposure, and a high-level stage every week. For a player like Rodrigo, seeking to consolidate his image and grow as a protagonist, this could be the perfect step. Additionally, Newcastle's Champions League spot guarantees the Brazilian international visibility and top-level competition. However, the risks are clear. Adapting to a new country, a very different climate, and an extremely physical league is not simple. And this is exactly why this story captures so much attention. It involves risks, rewards, and decisions that could change the trajectory of a young star's career. Sources close to Real Madrid confirm that, despite wanting to keep Rodrigo, the club would not hesitate to sell him if a favorable offer appeared. After all, freeing up space in the squad and reinforcing other areas can be strategic. For Newcastle, the issue isn't just paying. It's convincing the player that this is the right step for his career. And you, fan, can you imagine Rodrigo netting goals at St. James Park, in front of a packed stadium, hearing the crowd chant his name in unison? This is the scene that fuels the dreams of thousands of Magpies supporters today. So stay tuned, because this saga still has decisive chapters ahead. And of course, don't forget, subscribe to the channel to not miss a single detail.